James, you gotta tell us about your cowboy hat, man.
What?
You gotta tell us. Have we just been wearing that around the house?
What? What?
You just been
What are you
wearing that?
referring to?
James is casually wearing just like a cowboy hat around the house.
Was there something off? Is there something different right now?
Just something different. Okay, James, tell us a story about the. Obviously, you've got some.
Oh, I can't sell this? I can't sell the cowboy hat? It doesn't look natural on me?
Without some explanation? Like, yeah. Maybe when we were younger. I mean, we did do the cowboy hat thing.
Okay, John, fine. I'll admit this isn't my usual look. Okay? This isn't my usual look. I'm wearing this hat because there's a little bit of foreshadowing to some footage we might be showing. We may or may not be showing today. But also, it's a hat that we got when we were sworn in as honorary Calgarians.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And for anybody that's not from Canada, that's referring to Calgary, Canada. And we played a show out there and were sworn in. And it was a disaster because it was after their show and we couldn't hear at all what the fellow was trying to get us to recite, to say after him. And we absolutely destroyed whatever the heck he was trying to say to us.
It was like
right, John?
Like we had to, you have to kind of swear an oath as honorary Calgarians. And they do it with all the the dignitaries. I mean, we were like barely worthy, that's for sure. I mean, they have the royals when they come through, or different like people, like they swear them in as honorary Calgarians, and they give them these hats, which a lot of people wear at the Calgary Stampede. It's got the red band on it, right? So for any of our Calgary fans, if you're watching, of course, you know all about this. But the gentleman who does the swearing in, if you will, came on stage at the end of our show at the Weber Academy with the folks who run the Weber School there. We had a great, filming, I guess. It was actually a show that was filmed. And at the end of it all, caught on film, we got to get that, by the way, wherever that footage is us.
Yeah, we got to show that. That's a disaster. That's going to be a good one for sure.
It's honorary Calgarians. And as James mentioned, our in-ear monitors, of course, we run monitors in our ears whenever we're on stage, not as before anymore, to kind of keep the volume down. But we didn't have his mic patched into our monitors, so we could not hear what he was saying, so to repeat the words. So I don't think we're technically honorary Calgarians, James, because I think we botched the oath so bad.
We did it so badly. So we have a couple of comments already here. We have Amy writing in, "Hey, my favorite Canadians, it's you, Ginger. It's your Ginger from the UK," and we know Amy from the UK.
Good friend from the UK.
And Akeem is back saying hi, and we actually have our mom on this commenting hi this week, so that's fantastic. But I think another note on the cowboy hat. I think when I was younger, we were kind of that was part of our look, and I think it took a while for me to kind of find out that I didn't really think it was necessarily the coolest thing when we were younger. And there was one trip where it wasn't, and John wants me to admit that this was intentional, but there was one trip, there was a European tour where we were going over. It was right in the teen years where I decided, I don't know about this cowboy hat matching clothes thing. And conveniently, my hat was nowhere to be found when we were about to get on a flight to fly and play our European shows. And, that was kind of the end of the cowboy hats.
It kind of was. I think we realized that the show did in fact still function without the cowboy hats. But for some reason, I think, and I was definitely on board of this train. I was really, and I should disclaim, by the way, that we have a lot of great artist friends out there who wear cowboy hats and rock them. Brett Kissel being a great example of one of our pals out there that rocks cowboy hat on stage. And we did a pretty good job at it. But I think, James, what you're talking about is the matchy match, both of us in cowboy hats, both of us wearing the exact same clothes thing on stage, which was pretty cute when we were really young. And then we kind of just gradually grew out of it. That's kind of the deal, right? So that was the
Look at this, man. Look at it.
I think you're doing well. I think we got to circle back to this because James is really nailing this cowboy hat thing. But you know, standing outside.
So this is just a little tease for what you may or may not see a little later on
You're standing
from.
outside when this happened, and James just sort of. I mean, to this day, we don't know the truth, but James just sort of had his look on his face, like, "Oh yeah, I guess I forgot my cowboy."
No, I forgot it. I forgot it for sure.
Yeah. My dad and I, to this day, still think James looked for an opportunity to sort of deke out of the cowboy hat thing for a whole Europe trip. It did go on, and we really didn't wear them much after that. We kind of realized
that was the beginning of the end.
it's not
So
as fun stage.
yeah. Yeah. So Amy wrote, I have a surprise for you guys. Do you both have access to your Twitter account? I can see if I can pull up my Twitter. Alistair Waring from the UK. We're definitely, yes, we're very familiar with you. Says, hey guys. And we can't wait to be able to get back to the UK, right, John?
Absolutely. It's so
We
great.
said it last time.
Guys, thank you for commenting. And actually on that note, James and I play a festival every year called not every year, every other year really, called Big Church Day Out. It's a fantastic festival in Southern England that features some phenomenal acts for the Christian and crossover genre. I mean, we played with Hillsong there and Switchfoot and a bunch of other phenomenal acts at this festival, which, I mean, I don't know, James, I think it's about 25,000 people that go to this thing. It's such a cool event. And it's on the grounds of this beautiful old, it looks like Downton Abbey, this great big estate. And I think William the Conqueror, some history stuff there. William the Conqueror actually was there at one time. And it was, as far as I know, the base of operations for the Canadian military during the D-Day planning in World War II. Anyways, it's really cool, a building called Whiston House. Check it out online. But this festival happens on the grounds there. And of course, due to COVID-19 this year, even though we weren't going to be playing at it, we weren't scheduled to play it this year, they had to close the festival down, but they've decided to start up a Big Church Day Inn, which is an online festival or some sort of version of their festival. That's happening on May 24th, this coming Sunday. And I believe that's happening at, let me just make sure I get the right date here. I've got it here. It's happening at 12 p.m., starting at 12 p.m., but that would be the time in England. So do the math wherever you're at. And we're on the T10 stage, which is the stage that we often play when we're over there. And then, so they're kind of recreating this. And even though we weren't scheduled to play this year, they asked us to be part of Big Church Day, and we said, absolutely, we'd love to. So for anybody who is over in England and you've been to Big Church Day out a bunch of times, that hopefully will fill a bit. We're on the T10 stage, which is the stage that we often play when we're over there. You're sharing the, and then, so they're kind of recreating this. And even though we weren't scheduled to play this year, they asked us to be part of Big Church Day, and we said, absolutely, we'd love to. I'm hearing what I just said.
Oh, my apologies. So I'm going to share this page here.
Technical glitches.
Listen, guys, we're country musicians. We're not that technical, okay? So at least I cut off what was going wrong, right, John? I'm good.
Yeah, no, totally. And actually, my technical faux pas this week is that I don't have my mic in front of me. That's probably why.
Yeah, John basically requires me to do most of the technical stuff. So give me a little bit of a break here. I'm bringing up a photo here, some photos of Whiston House. You can see this, Johnny?
Yeah. Oh, that's it right there.
So this just goes to show, I mean, if you can imagine, they have a festival on the grounds of this manor house here, and it's insane. And so you mentioned they're doing a different version of that, right, John? And did you just give a link? I was sidetracked by you getting spoken over by your echo.
Probably on this, and actually we'll share it to our social media after this, by the way, because they've sent us the assets to be able to put up there. But it's youtube.com/Big Church Day Out. If you actually go to the Big Church Day Out YouTube channel, then you can watch it exclusively from there. And we're gonna be on it. Where James and I decided to film a little bit of a video, and we be able to it as well. So. Yeah,
that was fantastic. Let's keep up with some of the comments. I'm really thankful, guys, for you commenting here. This is definitely by far some of the most comments we've gotten so far. We have Frederica.
Yeah.
Or sorry, I jumped down a little bit. So hey guys from Alistair. Aliza again is back. Thank you so much for being back with us. The cowboy hat looks good. So there you go, John.
Got some support.
Our mom is back in here and very much saying, I love the matchy match. Yes, circle back. Okay. Linda Robb saying, I think you look good wearing the hat. So there you go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob. Teachers at LaSalle Secondary School in Kingston, by the way.
Yeah. And Linda was asking for some music at some point. So John, Linda calls the shots. She's
always has.
We gotta take notes and figure that out at some point. Alistair says that's where we first met you at the Big Church Day event. And Frederica, I'm back down here. Hi guys, very excited for Big Church Day in. So we have a great performance from John. Or a performance from us. I don't want to say great performance, but we have something to come for you for that. And again, Alistair, looking forward to seeing you on Sunday at Big Church Day In. Yeah, we were so honored to be a part of that. I mean, there's so many great artists that they could have a part of that event, and it's really cool that they would ask us to be a part of that. So, Frederica, we'll miss seeing you guys. Yes, absolutely.
And we always love hanging with you, Frederica. Absolutely.
Wolves says Ola. Amy just posted to Twitter and tagged you guys, so we can pull that up.
Sweet.
Oh, nice. She pulled out some art I did of you guys this week, and maybe I can put it up without putting anything. But there we go. So we got Big Church Day out on the bottom. It's like a Polaroid. And there's us, me with my cool hat. See, Mom, that's the new look. That's the look that's the new, it's the ball cap look, and John with the fedora.
Really?
But maybe the cowboy hat comes back.
Very strong mustache in that cartoon.
Oh, I'm playing banjo too. That's good. Oh yeah, we have some handlebars there.
70 Sam handlebar strength for sure. That's awesome. I love it.
Mom's commenting again, not to skip over it, but I'm just trying to get to everybody here. She says, love how you always help each other. Absolutely. So yeah. Frederica, I'm excited they're doing it and confused at the same time how they're doing it. Sure. Yeah. Wolves likes the hat. And I mean, Frederica, this Dutchie can't wait to photograph you guys again at some point. Absolutely. We have Anthony Atkins. Hi guys, here from the UK, and love seeing you at Big Church Day Out. Does this mean if you were not scheduled for this year, you'll be there for 2021? We don't know, right, John? But hopefully we come back soon for sure.
Our hope is obviously to be able to come back soon, because we love working, not just, obviously getting together with everybody at the festival in the crowd. I mean, it's one of the best crowds that we've ever played for worldwide. You guys are absolutely, you're in the top spots, that's for sure. And we're so energized by you. But we really love working with the Big Church Day Out team, all the volunteers there, and the team that puts on the festival. You guys, if you ever get to see this, we just want to tell you how much we love you and appreciate everything you do for people out there, and how awesome it is that you're going forward with something this year anyway. And I think this Big Church Day Out thing is such a smart idea.
Mom liked the cartoon. She said, very cute, neat cartoon.
Right on.
So anyway, so we got through some of the preliminary stuff. I feel like my headphone might die in a second, but we can basically move on to how our weeks have been. John, how have you been doing? I know you've been cutting some grass, and right? Yeah,
finally. I mean, I let it go for 2 weeks, and it's been constantly raining. So the OCD side of me, when it comes to lawn maintenance, was acting up. That's for sure. I think it's because I was the grass cutter growing up. I was always the one out cutting the grass with my dad, or the one that was tasked with the grass cutting after school or something. That was just something that always fell to me. And I also liked it. So I am the one who does that here at my place. And there are a lot of dandelions. So finally got that cut, and Alex took the lead and did a whole pile of gardening yesterday. So our gardens are coming back. And yeah, I
What did
still have
she
to go
what did she put in? What did she put into the gardens, do you know?
named a pile of flowers that I can't
A
remember.
pile of plants?
Pile of,
Green plants?
yeah, I can't even remember. I can't remember what she said. But I'm looking and I can't remember.
I knew you wouldn't. I knew you
One
would have
looks
no
like
clue.
this and one's like this and one's green and one's kind of a little bit yellow and I'll take a photo of it and maybe share it next week. But pretty cool.
What do
And
you do when you're cutting grass? Do you listen to songs? Do you listen to podcasts? What do you do?
just like
Sing songs?
when you're grabbing the bus, James.
Yeah, you're insane.
Also,
John,
push mower. It's a push mower, so I'm walking around, so I'm getting some serious exercise. That's for sure. Some serious.
that's funny.
The COVID version of serious exercise, pushing a lawnmower. But no, it's coming along, and I still have to go get a trimmer, like a weed whacker, get the edges. You got, I think Nan and Pop gave you a weed whacker or something, and I got to go get one.
Yeah, no, that it was really nice of them. They gave me a gas powered trimmer, so I'm able to use that. And no, it was a really nice gift for sure. And but it was a funny experience because our grandfather, he the place where he was going, it seemed like, you know, great people, and I'm not gonna say the name of the place, but it seemed like there was just things, little things here and there that like the sizing of things and whatever, and Pop had to do a bunch of trips, and it was just, you know, in his way, it was funny to try to strategize with him about organizing, getting the right bits and whatever that was going on with it. But so he put in a lot of effort, is what I'm going to say. He put in a lot of effort to make sure I got all the pieces.
He's doing the same thing for me. He's very kindly getting a chainsaw all really done up and back to
Yeah.
shape.
Well, you know him. He's just so meticulous about making sure that all the stuff's right. And he wanted me to have a blade so I could take down some of maybe some of the dead smaller trees that I have in my backyard and stuff. And so that's great. So it's a chain. He's helping you with a chainsaw.
Yeah, well, and for anybody who needs context, the grandfather that also builds guitars, and that I built my guitar that I play on stage with, and so he's very project oriented and very meticulous right now. And Pop is in his 80s, and he's out building a brand new shed for the tractor and to keep the wood in, and he's hustling outside doing that, and it's actually awesome. Both Nan and Pop are so. We're very fortunate. They're so very active and doing
Oh yeah.
looking after their place. And so Pop's getting his chainsaw together and you know, I don't have a whole lot of stuff to cut right now, but it's going to come in handy. That's for sure. I know, because we've got to get this wood cut for next year so we can heat our house. So I'm gonna have to go with that and get that stuff done. But anyway, no, it's coming along.
Alistair says, doesn't matter what the flowers are called as long as they look nice. I cry smiling.
She showed me all the pictures of what they're going to look like when they're grown, and they look really cool. I have marigolds to keep the apparently the marigolds keep the like certain bugs away from vegetable gardens. And that's the other thing we're doing, is we're getting a vegetable garden going in an old sandbox that's out behind the house where the former owners had built a sandbox.
Nice.
And we're going to turn that into a raised bed vegetable garden so that we can, you know, ride out this whole thing growing our own vegetables.
That's a good idea. Amy responded and said, Dad, in brackets, Alistair, and Mom have been doing our gardening and redecorating our house for the past few weeks.
That's awesome.
So
right on.
That's you know, Alistair is a good person to get you know, some sort of props, you know, in terms of, because he's, you know, he's a gardener and he's giving you a pass, John. So
well, and any we're always open to any gardening advice from any of our fans and friends.
That's true.
Who do it themselves. So we're all ears for sure.
So basically my week, I mean, if you were wondering, John,
passive aggressive cue. John, ask me how my week went.
Well, I've been building some stuff. I posted it on Instagram earlier in the week. I built a side table, And there's a story with that. I actually I had built one before, so it was, I kind of did left that out of the post. So
No,
that kind of gave me an edge.
when you say built one, James, do you mean like you built a side table or you assembled one that came in a box?
Okay, John. I assembled a side table. Okay, I assembled it.
You ordered something
So,
or
but here
Wayfair.
you go. So I assembled a side table before, and it was the same exact model. And so, although in the Instagram posts it looked like I did an okay job, I had experience doing that exact table. So, anyways, but the first time I did it, there's this part where you have to nail in the back of it, and it's like the one thing. It's the one step that you can't undo, basically.
Basically, the one
And
that requires you to
you
do it.
have to do right. And so, of course, I would take the back, and I literally nailed it onto the front, like the sides that are, there's like hard edges on the back, and the nicely painted, curved, edges, and I nailed it to the front. And so I basically ruined the side table.
Wait, did you not do
So,
the putty? Have you done the putty fill thing?
so what we had to do was I very, very, carefully pried out each nail and put it on the right side. And there's just these nail holes all over the front. And so I had to take like the wall putty and putty well, it was actually Kyla, my fiance, that did this, and she came up with the idea.
Fix the problem.
No, I created it and she fixed it. She put the putty in the holes, and then we used some paint to paint over the holes.
Really
So that was a disaster. I have an update on my my birds that I've been housing rent free in my chimney. I mentioned it last week.
You were talking about that last week. What was the deal again with the birds?
So I have a chimney, and of course that's a perfect place for a young family of birds to move into. And I saw, or I woke up really, this is how I found out about it. I was awoken one morning by, it sounded like a crow or something, a crow fighting some other bird. And it was so loud and so obnoxious that I actually woke up. And then I went out later in the day and I heard some more bird noises. It wasn't a crow. So I looked up, and wouldn't you know it, there's a bird feeding babies in the chimney. I can see like the bird, I can see a worm. So I'm assuming I can hear little chirps, chirps of the babies. And so clearly what had happened was there was some crow that was coming for the babies or something. And then there was a fight. And so anyways, then I had sympathy. And of course, I'm not going to do anything to, put these little birds in jeopardy. So they've been living rent free up there. And but the update this week is that now the back deck is a complete disaster. I mean, of course they're flying over there, and they have to, do their business, and it just made the deck, it's unusable in its current form. It's just completely unusable. Yeah. So that's that, but I'll have to figure out what to do with that. But eventually the long-term plan is they're going to grow up, they're going to learn to fly and fly off, and hopefully, I mean, I think that's what happens. And then I'm gonna have to put some, like a little cage or something up for next year. But I'm sure they've been doing it for a while. I don't know.
Birdhouse up.
Okay. Well, we can spitball a few ideas and then get back to everybody.
How about your cats? Are they just driven crazy by the fact these little birds?
Oh, they love it. It's built-in entertainment for them. So and she might be asleep, but I might go try to get her here.
Wake her up this week. Last week, James.
John, I can't.
Cats to show us.
Okay. Alistair says, and decorating for the next few weeks too. So that's great. They're gardening and decorating, and I'm sure that some of that, you've been doing in a way to stay home and to stay safe. And so that's great. You guys are, you know, keeping busy. We have Eliza, a vegetable and herb garden is always great to have. You get fresh ingredients while also saving a few bucks.
It does taste so much. I find it tastes so much better. James, you know, and you can talk about this a little bit, James, but James, for a couple summers was managing a community garden in Kingston, the Robinson Community Garden that actually our dad and Bernie Robinson, a good business friend of ours in Kingston, who has been a wonderful supporter of our music for a number of years. They started that together years ago to try and help service a lot of the local community and shelters, food donation centers, etc., for with fresh produce, right, James? And
that's right. No, it was a really it was a project that I was really happy to be a part of. I mean, there was a lot of people that were helped through those meal I mean, they are in general, but then to be able to supply some of those food programs that already exist with those vegetables was really a fulfilling thing for sure.
Yeah, what was it? Martha's Table, Boys and Girls Club, St. Vincent de Paul Society, Salvation Army, a bunch of the local shelters benefited from or continued from that.
And it still exists. Obviously, we've just been more busy with music and with other stuff in life, and but it's a great program, and I was very happy to be a part of the beginning stages of that with Bernie Robinson and his family.
When you work
from the Kingston area
at the garden, James would bring home a couple you know, things from the garden here and there, fresh peppers, and I remember you brought home like broccoli and asparagus and so, some various things, and oh my goodness, it was so good. Like, it's just a whole other tier when it's that fresh. So I think that's what we're going to try and do as well.
Do you pronounce the H in herb, John?
Herbs, fresh herbs. You know, it might be an interchangeable thing for me. Fresh.
I'm asking you. I would love to know.
Fresh herbs. I find fresh herbs is a little harder to say, but herbs. Maybe I say no H. Is that kind of
people can let us know. People can let us know in the chat.
Tell us if to drop the H.
Oh yeah, Amy, that's right. Amy said, "Oh yeah, I think my prayer for the spirit of IKEA to fall on you works, James." Yes, yeah, I didn't mess up that side table too badly.
That's right.
And I appreciate you doing that. Linda Rob says, "Good to get clarification. Difference between built and assemble. I was thinking you had woodworking skills. Maybe your papa could help out." So yes. That Linda Rob's happy for the clarification that I in fact only assembled those side tables, so we're good there. That's good. Oh yeah, Alistair says yes. Use the H.
Yeah.
Use the H.
Herbs. Yeah.
I actually feel like I looked it up, and there might be like a North American versus British, and I actually think that there might be. It's one of those things, but I don't know. I could be totally making that up.
I say a lot of weird things, and I also pull in a lot of old school sayings from like 100 years ago and use them regularly in my everyday speech. So I'm not a good example for the common everyday, you know, what people are used to saying, because I am a little bit of an old soul in that way.
I think Alistair is saying it's better English. Yes, it's better English. Yes, there's the proper. Okay, the proper English is with the H. It's not silent P as in like in Psalm.
Psalm, that's right. Yes, of course. Well, these people are from the motherland and they know the proper king and queen.
Oh, and Eliza says most people don't pronounce the H, so it could be.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think there might be a British versus, you know, American versus, you know, Canada thing. I'm just coming up with stuff. But basically, so yeah, I've been furnishing. Yeah, basically trying to furnish the house and do stuff. I've built so many different things, and I've learned how to build stuff from all the furniture places, IKEA, you know, Wayfair. I know all the Allen keys. I know all the Allen keys and the washers and.
You got all. Do you keep all your Allen keys like me? I keep every Allen key I've ever.
No, I did, but then I kind of realized I have too many, and way too many.
You got like
And so anyways,
size, right? Yeah.
yeah, so I decided to stop doing that. And but I'm trying to get stuff on the walls, and whether I'm getting paint. Actually, Kyla's been really great. She's been buying some local art that maybe I'll feature on our Instagram page. And there's some amazing artists around, and we've been liking some of the abstract stuff, abstract artwork, and so there's someone actually from South Frontenac that she's gotten a few pieces from, which is the region that you're from, right, John?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm giving away John's address here. Anyways, no, so the region from the same region as John, so it's nice to support some local artists. But I kind of, and all due respect and all respect to abstract artists, and I love her stuff so much, but I think I could take a crack at it. I think I could try. I think I could whip up an abstract painting.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some great ones, and I've seen some not so great ones. So it's.
What are the odds, John, you think that I could pull off a decent little novice abstract,
It's abstract. Well, I mean, I guess that's the thing, is what is abstract art to you, right? Just what kind of abstract art are you guys liking right now? What are you trying to emulate here? Like, like a Jackson Pollock?
John, it's yes or no. Do you think I can do it? Do you think I can do a piece of,
Sure.
And something that you might like?
I think you can give her a shot, submit it to me, and we'll discuss it. How about we
Maybe we'll get people to put in their opinion.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, our mom, I told her this, and of course it created just a hurricane of excitement. And she has the basement cleared out as a painting studio. She has a shed down behind our family farm that's going to be our summer studio. She's got all the paint out. She's got big easels and yeah, everything. So the brushes, so she's all kitted out, and I think I'm gonna do 3, and then maybe we pick our favorite. So I'll have to keep people updated on that.
I think, James, you are a very artistic guy. In all seriousness, you're a very artistic guy. You're a very talented guy, and you're quite versatile in how you apply that talent. So I think you could absolutely make something worthy of the wall, of your wall. We'll see if it's worthy of my wall. I think that's really the question.
Carry the convo. I got to get my headphone going here.
I don't think you just heard what I said.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Just one sec.
Well, anyway, we'll see how you do.
I got to fix my headphone, and I'll be right there.
So James and I are brand new at a lot of this stuff. So you just hang.
I gotcha. I made you have to carry the convo, and you didn't know where you were going. Where were you going to go, John? Where were you going to go?
I was going to go on the fact that I just briefly mentioned it earlier in the podcast, but I just realized about a quarter of the way in that I don't have my mic in front of me, and I'm running off my computer mic, and I just completely forgot to set up my mic. So this is.
Yeah, well, honestly, it's harder to hear you this week. And it's like,
everybody.
I think, well, first of all, this is the only thing, this headphone thing right now, that is putting hitches in this, but it's like you're trying to make it as hard as possible for me to try to pull this off.
Try to keep up with me. Everyone has some sort of technical focus.
Let's keep up with some of these comments here. Yeah. We have some folks debating the use of H in herb. Linda says, don't want you to hurt your fingers or hands, could impact the way, could impact your music playing in a negative way. We wouldn't want that. So I appreciate that.
Hurt your fingers,
the building of things.
The building, yeah.
The woodworking. I like proper English. Good to know. Nana would be happy to know this. Tanya Thompson Abrams. So that's our mom. Let's see. I think, Steve Abrams, I'm assuming our uncle. I don't pronounce the H. I could be convinced though. So
I don't pronounce the H.
He's well read. He's a well read man.
That's my hot take. Is no H in herb. Herb garden.
That's
Herb
funny.
garden.
Amy says, my boyfriend is from Washington State on the Canadian border. Yes. And we have these discussions all the time. Mom thinks these discussions are fun. Nico says, hey, my friends, miss you a lot. Miss you too, Nico. And Linda Robb is laughing. Is ha ha ha. So I'm not sure if that's, she's probably laughing at me saying that I could do an abstract. That's probably what she's laughing at.
Okay, so James.
Okay, we got to move on here. We're 35 minutes in here and we haven't even. Okay, what?
You were talking earlier about why you're wearing the cowboy hat. Like, what's the foreshadowing you're going on?
Oh, well, I think we should get to that probably now, eh? I don't know. I could see if Lily or one of the cats could come on just before.
Yeah. Well, actually, let's bring the cats on. That is
Okay.
first.
Carry a convo for a minute.
Last week, James built up over the whole podcast episode that he was going to bring his cats on, show everybody his cats, and we're all waiting with anticipation. And he goes into the other room like now.
Yeah, come here.
Oh, they're asleep. I can't wake them up. So James's cats run his life. It's not the other way around. Are your cats? Have your cats got the beauty rest, James? Are they? She's
up. She was playing. Here, I can give a quick look. There she is. There she is. Go see the camera. There you go. Oh, she's gone.
No, she's doing.
We can get Milo in here at some point too. He's sleeping though, and I don't want to mess with him. Another week. She's gonna chill here. She might be eating something. No. Oh. Yeah, there's a little twist tie. That's not good. So we got to pull up this. Okay, so the reason why I'm wearing this hat is because I'm going to pull up some footage. We actually have a story later on that will make sense from this as well. But we have some footage of back when we were very young and we used to wear cowboy hats. And it was around this time when around the time of this footage that we had the matching clothes and the whole thing. Here comes Lily.
Nice.
There you go. Come here.
Now Lily does.
Yeah. So we have some footage of our first bus, and we got it. We were really excited, right, John?
Oh yeah.
And we were bringing it back from Nashville, and this was the first trip, was it not?
Yeah, I think if I recall correctly, it was.
I think it was.
I think it was March, because we went down on March break to do a bunch of shows, and the end of the week, the whole thing was picking up the bus and then bringing it back, and it's a very cool bus. In fact, of all buses to have first, I mean, this was a special one. James and I have talked before about the various brother performers and brother music acts that we grew up listening to, and a good example of a brother duo that we absolutely loved growing up listening to were Jim and Jesse McReynolds, and these guys were pioneers of bluegrass music and some country music as well. And they were members and stars of the Grand Ole Opry for many years, and so we were big fans of theirs. And the opportunity came up to purchase their original tour bus that they had toured around in for many years after Jim had sadly passed away. I think he passed away in 2002 or 2003, in and around that time. And Jesse was selling the bus. So we actually ended up getting to connect with Jesse and strike up a friendship. And long story short, we ended up buying as our first tour bus, this great legendary tour bus, which had Bill Monroe and Johnny Cash and all these phenomenal artists have sat in the front lounge of this bus and written songs. And it's a driving piece of history. And so this was coming back from picking it up the very first time.
Room though. And there's the bus.
That was good. That was good.
We can see her.
Mom,
She's still intact.
Don't use your thoughts. And when she started telling me, well, he starts using things and things start breaking things and don't break it.
Oh God.
See that
Whatever
part?
it is.
Tell you what, I've been broken down and stuff, and I've always gotten fixed. I was broke down in the middle of What's Dad saying?
Planes.
Dads start going on about some story about how he can fix anything when it breaks down. Some old, like,
Okay, so well, because we broke down. I mean, literally the first drive back from, and this is bus life. I mean, we know that now, but at the time we were kind of like, oh my goodness, we just bought this bus and we get it home and we break down. But you start to realize, I mean, this is just how living in a bus happens. I mean, you got to fix them all the time. But I'll never forget. This actually wasn't a breakdown. This was because the fuel gauge was wrong. It was off on the bus. When it hit a quarter tank, it actually meant it was empty. We didn't know that. We ran out of fuel. And when you run out of fuel in an old bus like that, in an old diesel engine, you don't just put fuel in and go again. I mean, you have to clean the filters out. You've got to do a whole bunch of things to get the thing running again. And it was like a Sunday at 3 a.m. that we broke down. So nobody's open and we had to go stay in a hotel right next to it and watch it sitting there on the highway.
but I just loved how Dad, and you can hear Mom's response here, but Dad in the background starts telling some story about being stuck in a boat and fixing it with some fishing line or something and pulling himself. It's like, I'm sure it's probably happened, but it just sounds like one of those fishing stories where the fish starts, kind of, one of those old school dad, stories that just the fish starts getting bigger than your arm length.
Dramatic.
Anyways, watch this. Let's watch a little more here. This is early 2000s too. It takes people back to seeing the old cars.
Accolades of fixing things in the background.
Wait, what'd you say there?
Brian, I can turn it up if you can't hear that well. Brian is talking about his accolades of fixing things in the background. So clearly she knew that it was probably true. Probably the story is true. I should give him credit, but it's such a dad story.
It's such a mom perfect.
Next the plane was coming in or taking off. Oh, there's another plane.
And at the end, Mom starts giving praise to her footage.
And there's the bus. The double J. Oh, there's a plane. Ooh, bonus.
The years before smartphones.
There we are.
But this bus is green and gold.
Choose that for my first major movie.
Did you hear that?
No.
Should be up for my first major movie or something. Mom loved her shot right there, that plane shot.
Yeah.
So that was the first bus, and you gave context to that. But I'm going to pull up another from this same trip. So this was Nashville. I found the tape. It says Nashville trip 3, but basically we were going down to pick up the bus. I'm fairly certain of that, John. Like that was the first.
Yeah, that was it.
That was and then we played a showcase, and I thought I could play a little clip from the showcase. This old song called "Can I Get an Amen" that people used to really like. I would sing the song, and it was just kind of a cute little like sentimental song, eh, John?
Great song, really great song, absolutely. James, it was like James's, like star moment where he'd step out on stage and he'd sing this song.
That's funny. Okay, well, I'll find this. I'll pull this clip up.
This song so many times for us to sing it, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Miss Rob liked this song as well. Maybe if she's watching, maybe she can comment. I think she was the one who also liked this one, I thought.
Okay, I'm gonna
see how James does with the tech.
Yeah, you just keep going there, man. Like I
have nothing to say. Because
you know what you got to do? You got to pull up the YouTube thing and look at the comments for next week. I got to teach you how to do that.
Absolutely. No, so I mean, we traveled around this bus for years before we actually got our second bus, and when we pull into festivals all over the United States, we felt automatically like bluegrass royalty, because we'd pull in and people who had gone to these festivals for years had seen Jim and Jesse come to those same festivals and get out of the bus, and it was pretty cool that we got to be sort of another generation of brothers. Oh my goodness!
So there we are. I don't have a black one on today, but that's me over here. Tim McGraw.
That's awesome.
And I want to make sure everybody can hear the first bit because it's really soft. But my dad asks me a question. He says, "You're going to sing this one, right, James?" And I come back with, "Yeah, and you're going to sing with me too, right?" It's like just one of them. It's like some scripted, like, it's just, it wasn't scripted, but it just sounds like so so wholesome and scripted. It's so perfect. So let's play this. Make sure I can actually hear.
There is now by the name of Aubrey Haney. This song's a great gospel tune. It's called "Can I Get an Amen?" James, you going to sing lead for us on this one, son? I'm going to sing with you, son. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
You can hear okay, Johnny? You hear okay? John ripping on the fiddle. That actually sounds good.
I'm a city was a preacher man. Gets started was crazy. Sitting in his kitchen chair down by the street. We ride our bikes real fast, man, he would never flinch. Even though we were an inch.
It's just so bad. Everything's on that stuff, man. You can tell.
All day whistle blew. Mill workers walking
Got some
home.
good harms going on.
That's what he's gonna fuck you. Stand at your free. John. Who can you trust these days? But then you lean on.
That's
Wow.
great.
Awesome. Oh my
So
goodness.
that was basically the clip that I wanted to show. It keeps going, but that's all I could take off of the DVD bit thing. So anyways, that's the way it all began. And I think that at some point we could kind of show a bit of a progression, because it wasn't that long after that, only a couple of years, where we ended up going from playing little showcases like that in Nashville to, our dad and mom really working very hard, and us working very hard to eventually get on the Grand Ole Opry, right, John? Like it
2 years later, 2 years after that.
so we obviously were very, very fresh at that point, but we also, in just a couple of years, we worked very hard to get our skills to the right level, and we're able to get on the Opry and play our fills. And
Well, it's always been like the I don't even want to say second nature. It's always been our nature just to always play and be playing together. And after school, we'd come home and we'd get our homework done. Then we'd be playing music together at night and practicing and honing the skills and stuff, right? I mean, that's it. Like, but getting to dive back into that, then it kind of brought a tear to my eye. Seriously, James, like man, I haven't seen that since, well, then standing on stage with you. Then that's really, really powerful.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's we're gonna have a lot more of those sorts of videos that we can bring up from time to time. Our mom took so many home videos that from time to time, if we find something that connects. The reason why we wanted to bring that up today was because we actually wanted to talk about a more recent road story in our last 10 minutes here, about what happened to us just a year or two ago, getting stuck in Wyoming with our bus getting broken down in the mountains. And John really, really made it work, because we basically got stranded with limited water, no cell phone service, and he had to hitchhike, and was knocked on strangers' doors to get a phone, and he really did a lot. So I thought that we could highlight getting out of that situation and how we can kind of look back now.
Well, very different situation than running out of gas in the middle of Toronto, not too far from home, in 2003 with the old bus, and then being with mom and dad at a hotel room where we could even just see where the bus was parked. I mean, James and I were 14 miles up the mountains outside of Shell Station. It's called Shell, Wyoming, and it is I think the population is 83 people, and there's a post office, a little bar, and maybe 2 houses there. It's really, really small. And just outside of Bighorn National Forest. Yeah, there it is. Thanks, James, for pulling that up.
So is
And-
it somewhere up here on Highway 14 that we were?
Yeah. It was
And you
like,
can see in a picture like this, it was just like, you know, I want to try to get in and just get a look at this, but it was just mountain ranges. And so it was up Highway 14. We can get a satellite image maybe.
yeah. So we're on our way home from fall. It was the fall tour in I guess it was 2018. So we're coming up on 2 years. It was beautiful. I will say it was pretty gorgeous to look at. But so we're making our way home, and we were having at that point. This is before we finally replaced the whole engine in our bus because it was coming to the end of its life, and making our way up through this mountain pass. And I was asleep, and our driver at the time was driving, and it happened while he was driving throughout the night, and the bus broke down. And to this day, we can't really, figure out exactly what happened. I think it was a combination of a few things that we found out later. But the long and short of the story is, we were up. It looked a lot like that, actually. That might have been really close.
It did, yeah. That's why I brought it up. Yeah.
Roads. I mean, for our tour bus, I mean, it's a 47-foot long bus. These are like switchback roads. I mean, it's very, very tight and very high up the mountain. We were actually at the peak of the mountain and broke down. We were on the side of the mountain for 18 hours, and there was no cell service at all up this mountain, other than if you climbed up to the very peak of the mountain. There was some fence posts up there that held a farmer nearby. He had free range cattle, but this was the edge of the fence line. And if you stood up on top of the peak and set your phone like this on top of the fence post, you could get 1 bar, enough to send a text, not make a call. That obviously wasn't going to do the trick. So I had to hitchhike a couple times into town after having a mobile repair guy come out. And of course he couldn't fix the problem. It was a big problem with the engine. Long story short, I spent 6 hours in somebody's house. Didn't know the lady, lovely lady, but she let me hang out in her house for a while on her couch to make phone calls. And nobody wanted to tow us off the mountain because first of all, it was getting late on a Friday night, and they were like, "We're closing down for the weekend. It's also dark. Where are you again?" "Oh, we're just 14 miles up 14 highway from Shell." They're like, "Yeah, we're not coming up there." Like, it was just crazy. And if the only towing company that was willing, after spending, at this point, it was 9 hours on the phone throughout the day, and the guys were running out of water and food out on the highway. The one towing company from Billings, Montana, which is 4.5 hours away from this place, they're the only ones in the entire region of the United States where we were in, like the northwest region of the United States, that had a flatbed trailer big enough to tow the bus. And the guy towed us out of there that night at about midnight and took it down the mountain. You have to picture a semi truck with a 50,000-pound bus going down a mountain like this, switchbacks, and we made it out of there. It actually took us, to go 14 miles, it took us 2 hours. That's how slow you had to drive. Anyway, we ended up getting to Billings, Montana, 4.5 hours away. It was quite a tow bill, I will say. Thankfully, CAA was covering it.
I have some footage of the guys taking that bus and putting it right on top of a flatbed. And I can maybe next week. I forgot, or I didn't think about pulling that up, but that'd be good for next week. I can pull that up maybe.
But then we were in Billings, Montana for almost another 2 days because nobody knew how to fix. We have an older engine in the bus, and nobody is equipped to be able to read it, to do any of the fixing on it. And we finally were able to convince a couple guys. It just so happened to also be a deer hunting week too. So everybody was gone from the shops. We finally were able to convince a couple guys to do what we needed to do. And we actually had to change. It was the computer on the bus that had been fried by just by being old, I guess. And we ended up making it home, and on a bit of a skeleton crew. James and I drove it home all the way from Billings, Montana, the two of us, and we made it back. And a year later, we put a new engine in the bus.
Yeah, it took a whole new engine, eh, John?
But it was scary. I will say it was scary up there, being up there for that long and running out of food and water. I mean, James, you did just as much work as I did, but on the other side, making sure the guys in our band like kept their spirits up, right? You guys had NHL on PS4 tournaments going.
yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's my thing. That's my thing, man.
Video games. James is keeping the peace with video games, and I'm down there making calls from someone's random house.
Well, on that old footage, there's a funny. I could have pulled it up, but there's a shot of jamming on the bus, and it's like you and Dad in the front. It's like, you know, like a postcard singing harmonies together, and there's me back. Mom like turns it, and it's me in a bunk, and I look over. It's just like me playing Game Boy. I'm just like totally not. And then at some point, you guys got me up to play a fiddle tune or something.
James, come on,
I wanted to play some. I wanted to play some Game Boy, and there you were, just meticulously going on your
That sounds a bit right.
mandolin. Anyways,
There's the eldest brother and the younger brother.
Yeah.
The two of
we
us.
got some comments here in the last few minutes of this week. We got hello James and John. Hope you're both well. Are you doing anything on the weekend for the Big Church Day In on YouTube? My wife Elizabeth and I will be watching from our tent in our garden. Yes. So we are doing. We mentioned at the beginning of the show this week, but we do have a performance, right, John?
And we'll make sure we post the information about. They sent us the little Instagram visual to be able to send it to everybody, so that everybody can know what time our sort of group of performances is happening. And we are so honored to be asked to be a part of it this year, even though we weren't going to be playing at the festival this year. It's nice to be a part of what they're doing instead of the festival.
Absolutely. Linda says, I don't think there has ever been a song you've sung that I didn't enjoy. But that's nice. But she said something about Mermaid. Oh, Mermaid Town wasn't her favorite.
You like Mermaid
So
Town.
that was the only one.
Way off. Like completely different
Yeah,
era.
she did like Can I Get an Amen? So that's good.
Nice.
Alistair Waring, how old were you then? And we were what, John? How old?
You were, I think you were about 9 or 10, or had just turned 10. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, because you were born. Yeah, it was 2003. So you had just turned 10, or were just turning 10, like that week we were down there, because it was March break.
Yeah. Frederica, this is so precious. Amy, oh, this is too cute. Steve, our Uncle Steve, this is great, guys. And he remembers those days for sure.
Absolutely.
He remembers those.
And Eli started playing. So our Uncle Steve, his son Eli, our cousin, who is really brother to James and I, because we spent all our summers together in Sydenham, Ontario, just down the road from where Alex and I live, going to swimming lessons together and playing music together, and running around in the woods and playing together. And so Eli played bass with us on the road for many years after that. And it wasn't actually that long after we were sort of doing that era of stuff that Eli jumped in. And actually, when our grandfather, the one who built guitars, retired from the road, Eli jumped in and played bass with us. So we have lots of stories and good footage from the years out there doing our thing. And I know that we've got some other DVDs we got to rip on that front.
Frederica says, thanks, Mom, for the videos, such precious moments. Linda Rob, another future topic, tour/pictures of the tour bus. So the newer bus.
Nice.
And Frederica, love hearing all these stories. So we're glad. We obviously will keep switching it up every week, but we're happy that we're able to bring back some of the family stories and the stories, the young music stories, the newer stories, and started blending them together, like the bus breakdown, the newest one, and then obviously the first breakdown. And it was the first of many, it turned out to be, because that's tour bus life,
Absolutely.
The way of the road.
Well, we appreciate you guys jumping in with us. This is episode 3 for James and I, and this podcast we've been talking about doing for a long time. And I know we mentioned it in earlier episodes, but really this whole thing came out of the idea of the fact that we have meet and greets after every single show that we play when we're on the road. We wanted to continue to do these meet and greets off road as well. And that's really where it came from. So thank you for actually watching and participating. And we're so glad that you're not bored by us. That was one of the things. You're like, do we have interesting stories? Oh, we'll find something. So anyway, thanks for watching and hanging with us, because this is a nice way to stay connected.
Remember to bring your mic next time, John, because it's
I will.
it's hard. It was hard for me to cut over your voice and stuff, but it's all good. It's all good. Hopefully it wasn't too harsh on the other end for everybody, but you know me. Anyways, we pulled it together. This is another week 3. So happy you guys were able to join us, and you said it really well there, John. We're really happy that people can find some entertainment in us just chatting and getting to chat with you guys, and we really appreciate you guys spending your time with us. It's a real honor that you would spend some time. So anyways, we'll see you guys next Monday, and again, we really appreciate you guys. And you have anything else, Johnny?
No, we'll see you next
We
week.
have to remember next week we were going to do a Lambo update on that story from last week.
Oh yeah,
Lambo kid. We'll get into that.
we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah. Thank you guys.